In a nutshell, the answer to this question is basically based on the typical capacity of the typical human being. Hey everyone, how's it going? Today I want to answer a common question that I've gotten over the years, which is, should I do cardio before or after resistance training? And the follow-up question logically to that would be why? Now, there are going to be caveats to this, and there are exceptions to this rule of thumb that I will present here. Okay. But for most people, this would be sound training advice. And I know a lot of people who weren't previously aware of this, and once they became aware of this, the answer to this question, they were able to perform in a much more productive way in the gym and were having a much easier time moving faster and further towards their personal goals physically. So, with that being said, let's dive in a little bit more. One other caveat, the answer to this question also depends on what your capacity is as a human being, or in particular as an athlete. If you have an extreme capacity for cardiovascular activity, or on the other side of the spectrum, an extreme capacity for resistance training, then the answer for you is going to be a little bit skewed compared to the typical person, right? Now, let's just get right to the answer, because I don't want this to turn into a deep dive, long format video. The answer essentially for most people is that you should train resistance training first and then cardio afterwards. And the answer basically is just about capacity. For the majority of us, if you engage in a significant amount of cardiovascular activity, it will significantly hamper your ability to perform meaningful resistance training style exercise. But the reverse is not true to the same degree. So, for instance, if you are someone who's engaging in a meaningful amount of resistance training in the first portion of your workout, generally speaking, you will have more than enough capacity physically to execute the amount of cardiovascular exercise you are looking to in the later portion of your workout. In a nutshell, the answer to this question is basically based on the typical capacity of the typical human being. By the way, there's one more caveat, and that is that I'm not talking about warm-ups, and this is actually important to mention. A lot of people like to warm up in ways that resemble traditional cardio, right? But generally the warm-up is a minority of your workout compared to the bulk of your workout, right? Now, for some people, a warm-up might be especially important and it might be a much more meaningful portion of your workout, and that's fine. And then other people, their warm-up style will be performing resistance training exercises at a much lower intensity, maybe for a bit higher volume, to start their workout to prepare them directly for some of the movements that they will engage in that day's workout in a much more intense way later on. So I don't want to ramble, because I know that can be, a tendency of mine. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to mention in the comment section. Preferably positive or neutral comments, but hey, if we get some negative comments, we'll see if we can address those as well. And there's definitely nuance to this question, but generally speaking, the universally accepted answer to this question is that you should, if you are the typical person training, do a bit of a warm-up, however that looks for you specifically, then get ready to complete all of your resistance training or most of your resistance training in that workout. If you're doing both in the workout, by the way, resistance and cardio, and then save your cardiovascular training for the last segment or portion of that workout. Okay. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're taking care of yourself, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.